Refresh all the servers. Hey Dan, how you doing? We're about to jump right into it. Let me okay. Can you hear me all right? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, you can't? All right, give me 1 second. Okay, how about now? All right, how about now? We locked and loaded? I bet. Hey Daniel, can you hear me all right? Hold on, I think you muted yourself.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Let me send the YouTube link to everyone.
Okay.
And then go to premium group. Yeah, we should be pretty good.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna get started then. Let's see how this goes. I'm pretty sure they can already hear us, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, let's see here.
What are they doing?
0.01%. That is the fraction of humanity who will actually change the world.
We did not come this far to just break down and lose now.
That's when the real champions come out.
What are you willing to sacrifice? Everything! What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow.
I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
I'm a winner. I'm going to win.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the SpaceX GameStop Game Show live stream edition. We are extremely lucky today because we get to be joined by none other than Daniel Elhanji, aka the Trader Daddy. Daniel, go ahead and introduce yourself to the chat and kind of tell everybody how you've been feeling, what you had for breakfast today, and what you think about the SpaceX IPO.
Thank you for the introduction, Easton. I am Daniel. I'm the Trader Daddy on social media, and I own one of the largest trading academies in New York City. Have multiple trading groups. I've been a financial advisor since 2012, and this will be the largest IPO I think I'll ever see in my lifetime.
Wow, in your lifetime. Let's see, what can you kind of tell us about how it started off this morning? I was a little hectic getting some stuff prepared. What's it look like going into the rest of the day, and do you have any predictions for market close?
Well, the big indicator was you had all the space stocks going up overnight. All yesterday, all into the nighttime, and then today they all just went down real fast. so it wasn't going to be much. I mean, if you look back to Cerebras CBRS that came out about 2-3 weeks ago, that was a $50 billion IPO, and it was delayed or halted all all day long. So right now, I was with my group earlier this morning, and we could really see the space industry is really coming back. So I think it as sort of, if you wanted to get into it for fun, go for it. But if not, wait 2 weeks. My overall plan for this was to wait 2 weeks for the dust to settle, and then buy maybe $75 or $100 a week for like a whole year.
$100 a week for how long?
For the whole year.
Really? So from now until the end of the year, you're going to be buying $100 a week of SpaceX?
2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now, maybe. So, because it's very rare, like, you get an industry leader, like, for space that is only going to get bigger in the 2030s. So, to wrap it up, like, in the first year, like, I think whenever I tell people that, they get really surprised, but it's like a real short-term thinking,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it for the 2030s and for the 2040s. Well, that first year when it was 1.5 to 2 trillion, I got a whole year's worth of it at whatever fair value is.
Yeah.
And whenever I read about SpaceX being 5 trillion or 6 trillion or 10 trillion or
10? You think there's a world where SpaceX goes to 10? What's the thesis behind that?
That bigger companies always get bigger, economies of scale. I mean, Apple went from 1 to 6 trillion in the last 6 years. I think all these hundreds of billions that market cap that companies go by, I think very quickly we're going to start to see them all by trillions now. I don't think trillion is going to be such a big number as it was 5 or 6 years ago. So I don't know when it'll happen, but at least getting it around 1 to 2 is going to be something that for the rest of my life I'll have. And people will say, "Oh, what happens if it really just drops off?" And I'm like, "Well, great, then I'm buying it every week, so whatever price it is, it is."
Yeah. And what do you also have to say to kind of the big SpaceX haters in terms of everybody says it's completely overvalued? Everybody says that it's, really, I've heard a retail liquidity event in terms of, this is just a big play to kind of cash out. I mean, do you have anything to say, too, on the fact that they're selling off 30%, which is very untraditional?
There's one, I mean, you're right. It is overvalued. I don't think anyone, doesn't think it's fair valued. I mean, if you look at Amazon, it's like the same valuation, but they make like 800 billion in revenue every year. So it fits, or, 400 billion, they have hundreds of billions in revenue, right? And SpaceX only has 18 billion. So, but the number one thing that's going to happen is SpaceX every quarter is going to say they had more revenue than the quarter before it. And that's like the number one thing that people look at in every earnings report is, did the revenue go up? And so as they keep getting these $100 billion deals from Google and $100 billion deals from the government and Starlink and their AI, there is, the rest of the space industry is so far behind SpaceX, it's not even close. And half of all of the satellites in the world that were ever launched are owned by SpaceX.
What are these satellites doing?
Data, intelligence, telecommunications, right? So if you think of every satellite that was ever launched ever, half of those belong to SpaceX already. And every year they do I would say 20 to 30% more launches than the year before it.
Wow.
So it's hard to sit here and be like, no, I don't want to participate at all. I don't want any part of this. And so if people think it's overvalued, that's fine. It'll go down in price, and then I'll just buy it whatever price it is, because I'm looking at it like a lifelong investment rather than as a trade. I'm not looking at this as a trade.
Yeah.
It's not a trade. So this is to hold for life. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other IPOs. It's not just SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI, being able to have both of those top AI companies for life. And then Anduril is going to be the top defense producer. They don't even bid on contracts. They just make their own products that the government wants, and then build it to scale using automation. So it's not just going to be SpaceX. There's going to be so many others coming after it, Databricks and Ramp. So the next generation of trillion-dollar stocks are coming out, and I don't want to say I don't want to miss out, but I at least want to dollar cost average into all of them to see what could happen.
When you say dollar cost average, a lot of our viewers here are kind of new into the world of finance, in that GameStop has kind of been their first touch point. Can you kind of explain, the idea behind dollar cost averaging, especially for a stock as volatile as this, and why it's helpful, and why that's something you'd want to be doing?
Yeah, so I do this with a lot, and I just made a video about this, that a lot of people have their magical number, and their magical number is something everyone has. I'm sure you have a magical number when it comes to buying stock or buying an options contract or buying crypto or anything. People inherently in their mind will always have some amount of money that they know, whether it's $50, $500, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is. People have this number that they're comfortable with putting into an investment, and then they put it in there, and then they just hope that it does better. Where I see it like getting rid of that number and then just buying it. If you like something and you buy it, you might as well lower that number, buy it consistently every week. And then if you want to stop at some point, you have the flexibility to stop. But if you put everything in at once, now you're just hoping every day that it goes up or down. So dollar cost averaging is you buy a certain amount every single week. So no matter what the price is, doesn't matter what the price is, because you're just buying every week. So you're always have an average cost of the price of the stock, no matter where it is. So that's
what kind of, in terms of
yeah,
time frame, what kind of strategy is that best for?
Volatile stocks or ETFs. Like for example, I did it with VCX, and even your top people on your app, called me completely dumb for doing it.
Really?
In my comments.
Who?
Oh yeah.
What'd you see?
The younger kids. They were like, "Oh, this is so stupid." Buying VCX, and VCX is an ETF that's Anthropic, Anduril, SpaceX. It has all of them.
Yeah.
And so it went from 18 to 700. And so people were like, "Oh, don't touch this. It's going to drop." And I was like, "I don't care what this thing does. I'm just going to buy like $50 to $75 of it every week." And, for a while it did nothing. It came back down from 700 to 100 to 80. I kept buying it every week. At some point I even forgot about it, which is the goal of a lot of these, just to kind of forget. And then eventually I had a cost basis of like 105 or so. Yeah. And then we had VCX, which again is a fund of Anthropic and SpaceX, all of them. But went from like 80 to 300. And so then I had my cost basis still there at 105, and I was still buying every week. Now, eventually it did. I think now it came back down to maybe like 120 or 140 or something, but it goes up and down so much every day. I really just don't care. Whenever it gets back up to 300 or 400, I'll start trimming.
Yeah.
Last time it got up to 300, I started taking some profits. But it's a much less stressful way of going about it than, just hoping everything, that all the money that you put in goes well.
Yeah. What do you think in terms of, I think a lot of people are thinking outside of SpaceX too, especially when it comes to today. You even said earlier, last night we saw a ton of space stocks kind of pumping. What do you think in terms of the overall industry? I know another thing I like to think about is like 3 years ago, it was everything crypto. And then, 2 years ago, a year ago, it's everything AI. Do you think the next the next year to 2 years could be everything space? That might be the next big bull run, cataclysed from this event?
The analogies are there. I mean, I think the cycles, you see it over and over again. Yeah, like there was crypto in 2020. There was maybe in 2017 to 2020 to 2021. You could even look at all of the venture capitalist firms. Almost all of their money was spent on crypto projects and NFTs projects, and then that went away. Not went away, but it consolidated more into Bitcoin. Most of the altcoins went away, and then we went into AI, and then I think space is probably going to be next. As we the data centers, people don't want them here. It's not popular.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to do more. The problem that people don't understand is we've always had data centers. They're just getting bigger now, so people are noticing. If you're anti-data center, you're anti, not only anti-AI, you're anti-Google searches. So everything that your phone does, you need a data center for. But where are you going to put these data centers if no one wants them? If all of these township committees and all these city commissioners don't want them there, and you're running out of places in the desert to build them, space is going to be the next place you could put that. I mean, a satellite technically is a data center. So I think you're going to see, some people say it's not possible to get to that scale, but it seems like every year we're sort of breaking that down. And then I'm going to join also the bandwagon of the people that say quantum is going to be after space.
Well, what's quantum for those of us that don't know? Because I hear the word quantum, I just think of movies. I don't know much about quantum.
Quantum is not the easiest thing to explain, and so I'll try to explain it in the easiest way, which is there's AI.
Okay.
There's quantum. Quantum is going to be more about computing to a degree where you can break encryption within seconds. Like the strongest encryption, it's code that can be trillions of times more powerful than any supercomputer. Think of like the most ultimate high speed computing that people have dreamt about. That's going to become a reality. People say that quantum can break crypto blockchains instantly. And so we'll find out things to do with them. But you already see that the U.S. gave $2 billion in quantum to IBM, BTS, Rigetti, other quantum names in the U.S. industry. The U.S. does not want to fall behind in quantum computing. And I do want to add that it's not going to just be space and quantum. You're also going to see the rise of AI robotics. And AI robotics is going to be the biggest thing I think we see in our lifetime. Because, even Elon said that they're going to probably just stop making cars at some point. So what are they going to make?
Oh yeah.
Well, and
you say stop
following that industry is interesting.
Yeah. When you say stop making cars, you don't mean like we'll never have to leave our house again, do you?
I meant like specifically Elon said I think that they're not going to be concentrating as much into Tesla cars.
Oh, okay. You mean Tesla as a company.
Yeah, so right, to clarify, Tesla as a company, I think even his last two quarterly reports was saying that look like instead of because let's be real, nobody cares about how many cars Tesla's making. You're not looking at how many Model Ys were sold this week. I think I'm going to buy some Tesla stock. Like people are betting on the future, saying, all right, like he'll make robots and also then there's the whole thing of Tesla then merging back into SpaceX at some point. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and
that would
with
also
no,
it
continue.
would also, interestingly enough, hit his performance package because every 6 to 7 years he gets some unbelievable bonus. Like I think from 2018 to 2024, he had to hit. I think the company needed to go up like 5 or 6x from 2018 to 20, and he barely got it. He actually got it, and so the I think it was 60 billion in pay was blocked by a Delaware judge because it was just too much money. But the board approved it in 2018, and actually every pay performance he's hit since he's been at Tesla, and so now the new one last year was I think 1.2 trillion for him to 7x Tesla by 2032. So I think we'll probably, to get there, we'll reverse Tesla back into SpaceX, and that will. I don't know what that does maybe to his pay package, but he's competitive. He likes to hit those performance markers.
Yeah. Yeah, well, now I kind of want to go ahead and direct you to kind of show you a bit of what's going on in terms of, and I just got a phone call, so it disappeared, but here we go. In terms of the overall markets, stuff maybe being affected by SpaceX, and I'm not sure if you can see, but we're showing our current live top 100 leaderboard over the platform right now, and specifically for the Finance World Cup, which has over $10,000 in the pot. If you were, I just got another phone call. If your one goal was over the next 2 weeks, you're in the Finance World Cup right now, and right now it looks like the number one person, except I just got a phone call, but the number one person is up 170%. What would your ultimate goal be to beat them over the next 2 weeks? Is SpaceX a part of that? You basically, if you had 2 weeks to make any sort of 3x, what's your game plan?
I'm checking the leaderboards right now to see what stocks they have.
So and I'm trying to pull it up here because it's recently changed. But I know last time we spoke with Trevor, it was a few. I think Path might have been one of the stocks. They're holding a very small amount of coin because we can see what their lowest cap stock is, or their lowest value, or their lowest amount of stock is.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up to what their second or third biggest bag is.
It's not a bad idea actually, Coinbase or other crypto stocks to buy at this level, because a lot of times Bitcoin will bounce off of the $60,000 mark. And, a lot of these Bitcoin stocks, if you time them right, SpaceX is now down 5%, but not even moving anymore.
Yeah, it looks like based on what we're showing, it's at 170. Do you think it hits 200 today? I know Polymarket is putting it at 20% odds to hit $200.
Let me just check. Let me see. Right now, I have it at 221.
Really, that's your prediction?
No. I think that's where price is right now.
Oh, really? Let me check. Let me refresh my data here.
Unless TradingView is not accurate. But it seems like I've been going through a lot of pages and there's a lot of different prices. But I think 221, it's moving. So I have to think 222 is the price. But it's moving so slowly. And I think that's because you know, a lot of these people who have SpaceX as a stock that have had it for 10 years, as like an accredited investor, you're put under a lot of pressure from the banks that gave you these private tender offers or stocks, privately owned stocks like SpaceX. They don't want you to sell the first day, so
Yeah.
there might be speculations about, a lot of just, retail investors who are accredited investors, which are people who have about 2 million liquid net worth, or so. It changes every year, but something about that. I think you also have to make 250,000 or more every year to be accredited. But those are the people that are able to get the private shares. It's becoming easier now, though. Like, obviously, you see that there's ETFs that have exposure. There are some. You can also go directly to the company and sign up for their tender offers now, for private shares. So I don't think it's going to be as hard to get as it used to be. But there is a lot of pressure from these banks to not have too many of their clients unload at once. Like, I remember as like just working in advisory, we used to have IPOs come out, and we would have to tell our clients like, like it's not a good idea to sell, not because it was a good idea for them. It was just that the bank didn't want that many people selling all at once. So, like, because a lot of these banks need to stabilize the price, so you can't have too many people selling at once. So obviously your client can sell, but if you have too many of your clients selling, like, it's unfortunate because like in that job, like you want to always be good with your managers and your clients, but they both have different goals for you. So you have to sort of balance both of them. But I do know that there's probably a lot of pressure right now on the advisors and investment bankers to not let too many of these shares go today.
Yeah. And were you able to get any pre-allocated SpaceX? And what's your plan with? Do you have a number, a top that you're looking to sell at? Do you have any insight too, if anybody at home was able to grab some this morning? What they should be looking at, maybe start thinking about exiting at?
I didn't get any personally because I didn't really want to start. I mean, besides the ETFs that I own that have a little bit of SpaceX in them,
Mm-hmm.
I did try to. I tried a couple things to maybe play a pop if possible. I bought a NASA call, which the ETF NASA has about a 10% allocation of SpaceX. So, it has every single space stock. So I thought maybe that would pop. It popped yesterday, but it went back down today. So, but it was worth a shot. I didn't get any personally. There are a bunch of people in my group that got a few shares. I think the most that maybe someone got was like 50 or 100 platforms. But sometimes people just want to be a part of history,
Yeah.
rather than the outcome. That's what's the worst thing that could happen. Like, let's say you get I think they got them filled at like 130 or 160. It's 221 right now. So really, like, what's the worst that could possibly happen? You got them today, or you got them like right before the market.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to reference a few things people are saying in the chat.
Yeah.
First of all, I also want to say this is Trader Daddy. He's he can kind of tell you more, also a little bit about your community. He obviously very smart individual, giving some great advice. Some people in the chat are asking, what your thoughts are on shorting, specifically. Another thing people are also asking is shout out Andrew for asking his thoughts about shorting. We do know that there is some music in the background of the stream right now. I think it's bugged out a little bit. We've been trying to turn it lower for the whole time. So I apologize to everyone at home if there's some music. What are your thoughts on shorting? And then the next thing we're gonna do is I actually have built out a mini game for you to play, Trevor, a stock themed mini game. Me and you are gonna play against each other, and so we'll jump into that right after, and then we'll tell people a little bit more about how they can get more involved on the platform, win some cash. I know, what's his name? Where did he go? Somebody just asked in the chat, best way to make $1,000 on GameStock, and I think that's by leveraging SpaceX as much as possible, risk-free over the next 2 weeks. So I'll get in how to do that in some of the upcoming tournaments. But first, Trader Daddy, go ahead, tell us a little bit more about what you think about shorting stocks, and then we'll get into that mini game for the fans.
Yeah, so if the people who just joined, again, my name's Trader Daddy. I worked in finance in New York City since 2012, and have a very pretty good trading education company in New York City, and have a bunch of groups around the internet at this point. The shorting space stock, I'm not a fan of, because now you're just borrowing money on the hopes it goes lower for margin. Like, I don't know if I don't think options are coming out for like a week on that, but I would rather just buy a put option on it, because theoretically you could lose all your money shorting something. I mean, if you do want to short SpaceX, you should be out of that very quickly. Like, try to get it as a drop and then be out. But I would not hold on to it for any stretches of time. Get a margin call.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
All right, well, let's just jump right into it. How good would you say your knowledge is on charts, Trevor? Like, if you just look at a chart over the past week or day, how good is your knowledge?
Me or Trevor?
I'm sorry, Daniel, Trader Daddy. I hear Trevor,
No,
Trader.
You were up. I've seen you work behind the background for this. You were up all night, so I get it.
All right, Trader, Daniel the Trader Daddy. What's your knowledge on charts? If I showed you a chart right now and I showed you the ticker price, how quickly do you think you could guess the company, the ticker?
Oh, you would just show me well, it would depend. If you showed me a daily chart,
Okay.
and you gave me the industry, I could probably get it.
Okay.
Maybe. It depends. I look at them every day, so.
Okay.
The daily time frame, I'm pretty good.
Okay. Well, actually, my follow-up question is, are you able to see my screen right now?
No, I just see you.
Okay. All right. Well, I just realized that you would need to be able to see my screen in order for this to work. So we'll go ahead and actually just jump into the next.
I mean, you could put it. You could put it on. You could put it, and then I could also just go on YouTube. We would be delayed though, because.
Yeah, we would be delayed. We would be delayed. It's supposed to be able to screen share through our ping platform, but.
You're able to share something. Share your screen.
Yeah, ready? Watch this. And while I'm getting into this too, just for our viewers, because a lot of people I think are super interested too in, you know, what they can be thinking about outside of SpaceX over the next 2-3 weeks. What are some industries or some stocks that you think are not being spoken about enough right now because of the whole overshadow?
Yeah, it's a great question, because number one is energy.
Energy.
All the things I just listed, and not only just all the industries I listed, quantum, AI, space, AI robotics, all that's going to just be a whole lot more energy. And almost every CEO, every single time they have an earnings report, goes on and on about how energy is going to be the number one thing that they're going to need the most.
Yeah.
So, you know, you see a lot of these energy stocks that feed data centers. It's interesting because whenever I make a video about energy stocks that feed AI data centers, those videos always get the most views. So I have to believe that people do believe that makes sense. That a lot of the energy industry is there to feed you know, the next generation, the next industries, the future. whether that be, and even SpaceX was talking about harvesting all of the solar energy from the sun to power the possible data centers that will be in space. And so it's a
Wow.
never-ending loop of energy that they're going to have to keep doing over and over again. So I
Wow.
would I would think that any drops on big names of energy will always outperform within the next 5 years.
What are the 2, 3 biggest energy cap stocks you're thinking of right now?
I like Bloom Energy.
Bloom.
I like GE Vernova. I like. Then you can start to get into some interesting ones, like you can get into like Fluence or EOS or. But yeah, I would say GE Vernova and Bloom are the two bigger ones. Oh, NextEra, NEE, or
NEE.
NanoNuke. NEE, NextEra is NEE. That's a really big one.
Okay.
Nanonuclear, you can get into all the nuclear energy ones, and that's NNE. So you could start to go through all of them. And then there's the uranium stocks that are part of the energy, the uranium ETFs. Nuclear energy, uranium, solar, that whole energy thing is going to be pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just pulled up a few of those tickers you just spoke about. Some of them, I mean, NEE you just talked about is down 10% this month, so maybe that's a good pullback.
They're great prices now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like some of these are actually on sale. So I think if you're looking towards the next month of tournaments, I would definitely be considering that. NEE, I know Bloom's another good one that we just took a peek at. We're gonna finish it off with a question in the chat from where's his name? We're gonna finish it off with a question in the chat from Thompson. Thompson's asking, what is some advice you would give to someone just getting into the space right now?
Into the trading space?
Yes, correct. I mean, now's a crazy time to get into it.
It's the best time ever, probably. Bigger companies are always going to get bigger, and I think you can always and also I want people to realize this, that and you know this as well, that doing content, you get many more views and eyeballs on you if you make fear-based posts.
Oh wow.
So like look at the chart of 2026 to the .com bubble. Look how it goes, those get the most views. So a lot of times, like, I know those people don't even believe in that. They just like to post it. And so, because I get people that send that to me every day. Twitter is just clickbait at this point.
Yeah.
So if it's not like a resource that you have, like, right now I made a new one called the Trader Lady, where it just shows unusual flows throughout the day, like unusual amounts on Twitter or on X. So I want to try to make it like a real resource. But the advice I have that I always tell the younger people that are coming into my premium group or start with me is that you want to be consistent. It's like going to the gym. Like the first couple days of going to the gym, nothing is going to happen. The first 2 weeks, nothing is really going to happen. But by 2 months, you'll definitely see a huge difference. By 6 months, you'll see a really big difference.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people in the beginning, they'll spend hours on TradingView, back testing, or whatever that means to them, just looking back into charts. They'll spend all this time watching YouTube videos, and you can watch as many YouTube videos as you want. It won't make a difference. You really need to actually put trades in. Because this is not an absolute science. It's a science based on probability, and you're doing it versus yourself. So you're then battling your own emotions. So the only way to actually do that is not really by watching other people. It's by actually placing trades through practice trades, demo trades in the beginning, and then small trades with real money to see. A lot of people will never actually see their real personality until you start putting your own money into with no guaranteed return.
Yeah.
And then you start to see how you react to it, because some people can handle it, and that's fine. Some people love it, and they want to work to get better at it. But you have to work to find like your balance in your lifestyle and your routine. So if you have a job that works a certain amount of hours, if you're a college student, if you're whatever you do, if you work 70 hours and have 3 kids, whatever it is, like you have to make a routine that works for you. I've seen a lot of people try to copy other people's routines, but every advanced trader I've ever met in my lifetime has their own strategy, and it works for them. The whole thing about, like, on social media, like, the whole thing about, this market is the best market to trade, and all the other markets don't work. This strategy is the only thing that works, and all the others don't work. That's just a product of marketing. That's not a real thing. It's what they tell you to say. From the marketing perspective. But really, people get better at this because they work at it every day. They start to see certain things happen, and then by trial and error, and by crowdsourcing, see what other people are saying what a group is saying, what this group is saying, what people that you trust on the internet are saying. You start to make your own checklist. And if everything is checked off, then go for it. You might as well swing for the fences than not swing at all. And you'll hit a bunch of them. You'll get them.
Yeah.
And some of them will be worth it for like a whole year. It'll make like a whole year sometimes. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I see.
All right. Well, that's super incredible advice. I think the big things that really hit for me is it's not going to happen in the first week. It's not going to happen in the first 3 weeks. It's about persistence. And then the second most important thing that I really took from that was it's about learning yourself as much as, learning the markets. Not everybody's going to use the exact same strategy.
It's the most necessary thing. You have to build something that works for you.
Exactly. Build something that works for you. Not everybody's going to have something that works for everybody. For everybody, I really want to thank Daniel, the Trader Daddy. We're going to be linking his socials and his community in the Discord right after this call. We'll also be linking more information about our GameStop SpaceX exclusive tournament, which all of you guys, if you tuned in, you got the code. It will be coming up. It's going to be code SpaceX. So if you're tuned in, you do know and have the exclusive rights to be joining in that tournament. Daniel, you can also alert your community about that as well. We'll be running that right after this stream. Super.
If anyone from your community contacts me that saw me for the first time here, then tell me that, and I'll give you, I'll let you know of the best discounts that I can give you for any of the things that I have. So if you bring that up, I'll go to the lowest possible links that I have for all of my products to give you guys.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel's Trader Daddy's an incredibly smart individual, as you guys have seen. He knows much more than me, not only about winning in the markets, but also it seems winning on the platform, winning on GameStop. So to recap, use code SpaceX when we release the announcement in the Discord right after this call. Trader Daddy, thank you so much. It looks like we're finishing the stream, the price at 173 this is via Yahoo Finance. You can tell me what you're...
It's probably more accurate.
Okay, well, okay. Because I know there was a bit of earlier you said it was around 200. But, somewhere in that ballpark. Which is a big ballpark. That's a big ballpark. But yeah, right before we end, I just want to know so we can have it on camera. For the next 3 hours once trading closes. What's your prediction price by the bell?
200.
200. That's if it hits 200, I will be pinging everyone in my Discord, and I will say this guy called 200 on stream. We will be clipping it. All right, 200 is the magic number to see later today. Thank you so much, Trader Daddy. Everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in. I know the audio was made it a little bit difficult to hear at times. This is our second ever GameStalk stream. Each one's gonna get 120% better than the next. This one was already 120% better than the next because we had Trader Daddy on, so you know it doesn't get much better than that. And I'd love it. I'd love it if you came back, Trader Daddy. I think we're gonna have a lot more great conversations.
And you guys, I really want you guys to come, and anyone else, you know, to come to my. I have once a month meetup groups in New York City.
Okay.
Every month, so you guys can always come to that. You can speak at it. You know, we can meet beforehand. So I do those every month, and so I always try to, you know, put another angle of the in-person part of it too.
Yeah, no, that's actually great. We will put together a GameStalk Trader Daddy event here in the city. Everybody's invited. Of course, we'll be running tournaments during it, all of that nature. We're gonna announce the SpaceX tournament in the Discord. It's gonna be code SpaceX. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back Monday during Market Open, 120% better. And thank you, Trader Daddy. This has been an awesome stream, super informative. I'm looking for that $200 closing price. I'm gonna hold you to that.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll be watching it for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for having me, Easton, and